Welcome in to Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Appreciate you joining us. On today's show, we will break down the top 10 most important Seahawks players in 2022. We'll count you down all the way from 10 to 1, break them down piece by piece, and tell you exactly how my expectations are for these players entering this season. We'll do that in just one moment. But before we do, I want to make sure that you are subscribed to Seahawks Today. We are trying to catch up with the NFC West rival San Francisco 49ers and the 49ers report. They just eclipsed 60,000 subscribers. We're at 27,000. Got a lot of work to do to catch up as we try to get to 30,000 subscribers. So go ahead and subscribe now, youtube.com/Seahawks TV. Hit that red sub button. You'll be glad you did, so you never miss a moment of Seahawks Today. youtube.com/Seahawks TV. So my criteria that I looked at, 4 different things in particular, of putting together this list of the 10 most important Seahawks. One is the investment that the Seahawks have put into these said players. Another is the role that you play on this team. Another is history. What have you done previously for the Seahawks? And then also your future with this organization. How important are you towards the future of the franchise? So that's the 4 things I'm looking at when I compiled this list. And we'll start in just one moment, but I will say that there is not a quarterback on this list. Although the quarterback position is the most important position, the quarterbacks that the Seahawks currently have on the roster right now, Geno Smith, Drew Lock, Jacob Eason, don't necessarily fit the mold of the criteria we're looking for today. So with that being said, here is the list. At number 10 on our countdown is running back Rashad Penny. Penny expected to split carries with Kenneth Walker III in 2022. Whether he's the starter, the number 2 running back, nonetheless, it is a big year for Rashad Penny as he has a 1-year deal paying him about $5.75 million. And whether he's the number 1 or the number 2 running back, the situation remains the same for Penny. He has to stay healthy and be available, be present for this Seahawks team, whether it's in relief of Kenneth Walker III or as the number 1 running back. One way or the other, the Seahawks desperately need Rashad Penny to be out there and be available with this team to be able to rotate in at that running back position, and also a chance to prove himself to see if he's worthy of another contract heading into 2023. The next player on our countdown is Uchenna Nwosu, the new linebacker for the Seahawks, coming over from the Los Angeles Chargers. And there's a lot of reason to be excited about Nwosu headed to Seattle. He'll start at the outside linebacker spot. Last year with the Chargers, he put together 5 sacks, 40 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, and 17 quarterback hits. He signed a 2-year deal that's going to pay him $19.05 million, and expectations are certainly high for Uchenna Nwosu this year of what he can do in this new scheme, the 3-4 defense that the Seahawks are putting together. More names to get to in just one moment, but before we do, I want to know from you guys, who is the most important Seahawks player in 2022? This is our pinned comment today. You're about to get an ad break. Take advantage of it. While that ad's playing, give me a name, whether it's somebody we mentioned, maybe somebody we did not mention. Let me know one way or the other who that player is. Next on our list is Poona Ford, Seahawks defensive tackle. And Poona Ford is going to play a key role in the Seahawks switching to this 3-4 scheme. The thing about Poona Ford that I think is what you can say the best about him is his reliability. Through the last 2 seasons, he has started every single game, and now he's on the 2nd year of a 2-year, $12.34 million deal. We have talked a lot about the Seahawks defensive line being a weakness, ranked 29th in the NFL according to Pro Football Focus entering this year. And Poona Ford is going to be expected to step up, be the leader of that defensive line entering this year. Expectations high for Poona Ford there. Number 7 on our countdown today is tight end Noah Fant, one of the newest members of the Seattle Seahawks. He was acquired in the Russell Wilson trade. And I got to tell you, Noah Fant this year, we've seen him show shades of greatness the last several seasons. But now can he put it all together and have a big fourth season in the NFL? He's going to play a key role in the Seahawks passing game as essentially the number 3 option behind DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. The Seahawks are already invested in Fant's future before he's ever played a single game in a Seahawks uniform, as they've already picked up his 5th-year option for next year. So with that said, a lot of excitement about Noah Fant, of what he can do if he can take that next step and become an elite tight end in the NFL. He's been very good at this point, but does he have another jolt left in him? We will see in 2022. He's already spoke highly of this Seahawks offense under offensive coordinator Shane Waldron, that he feels like this is a good fit for him and other tight ends in this scheme. More on our countdown in just a moment, but before we do, we are offering a great deal just for viewers of Seahawks Today. You can get this t-shirt combination, which looks really good in both the blue and the gray. And the best part about it is just $20 off. What a savings, I tell you, folks. And the only way that you can get it is by going to chatsports.com/Seahawks shirts to get your hands on this combo. Quite the deal. $20 off now at chatsports.com/Seahawks shirts. Next on the list, number 6 is Jordan Brooks, who will be starting at linebacker once again for the Seattle Seahawks. And Brooks has been pretty good early on in his career. He will be calling the shots on the defense after the departure of Bobby Wagner. So a new leadership role for Jordan Brooks at this point. Last year, he was a tackling machine, ranked 2nd in the NFL in tackles in 2021 with 184 total. And the Seahawks have been fans of him since the beginning. He was their first-round selection in 2020 with the number 27 pick overall. And if Brooks has another good year again, not only are we talking about him being in the conversation for Pro Bowl or awards at the end of the season, but also a big payday down the road as well for Jordan Brooks, you would have to think would be coming if he can have a big 2022. So the Seahawks have shown that they believe in him. We know that he had a really good year last year. Now you take on this new role. What will he do for an encore after last season? Can he go from 2nd to 1st on that list? Very curious to see what he can put together. Will Jordan Brooks lead the NFL in tackles? Let me know in the comments section. Type Y for yes, type in for no if you think Jordan Brooks will get it done in 2022. Y for yes, in for no if Jordan Brooks leads the league in tackles. Number 5 on our list today is the only rookie to make this list, and that is Charles Cross, the Seahawks selection at number 9 overall in this year's 2022 NFL Draft. And according to Pro Football Focus, it was quite the steal for the Seahawks at 9, as Cross was ranked number 3 in the entire draft of players ranked. And for Cross, this is somebody that at that number 9 pick is expected to make an immediate impact, starting at left tackle. And the hope is that you have found your starting left tackle for Seattle for many, many years to come, for a decade plus. Expectations are high for Charles Cross, somebody that we saw at Mississippi State that only allowed 2 sacks in 2022 and 14 hurries. He was dealing with some of the best in the Southeastern Conference, and now making this transition to the NFL. What can he do this time? The Seahawks passed on a lot of different options they could have gone with that number 9 pick, and ultimately they chose Charles Cross. They believe in him. They're invested in him. Let's see what he can do going forward. And now, entering a situation where the offensive line was not great last year, Charles Cross will be expected to come in right away and start to fill the void, start to fix some things that we saw from that offensive line last year. So watch out for Charles Cross. I know he's a rookie, but he's still very important from the jump for this Seahawks organization going forward. Number 4 on our list is Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett has had a really good career at this point. You go back to 2015, he was a first-team All-Pro player. And last year, even though 2015 was his All-Pro season, last year may have been the best season of his entire career at this point. I know that he's 29 years old now, but even then, last year, he still had more receiving yards in 2021 than any season prior, with 1,175 yards. He still has a lot of time remaining on his contract as well. I know a lot of people are talking about the timeline for this Seahawks team, of this rebuild process and whether Tyler Lockett fits in with their franchise going forward. But here's the deal. The numbers don't lie, folks. The Seahawks have said, look, we're going to have him on board for 4 years and $69 million. It would cost them a lot to trade him when it comes to the dead cap. So, Tyler Lockett, coming off a really good year, you've given him the money, you've made the commitment there, and he has been such a great human being, a great citizen of the city of Seattle, what he's done to give back. It's incredible. It's so impressive. So, with that in mind, let's show a little gratitude towards Tyler Lockett on the channel today. Type 16 in the comments if you are grateful for Tyler Lockett for what he's done for Seattle and what he's going to do for this team going forward. Type 16 in the comments. Show some love to TL16. Number 3 on our list is Quandre Diggs. Diggs signed a new 3-year, $39 million contract this offseason. And in the offseason, he also had surgery on his broken fibula and dislocated ankle. Diggs is coming off back-to-back Pro Bowl seasons, and now with this new contract in place, and we see all the changes that are going on with this Seahawks team, watch out for Quandre Diggs. What does he have coming off the injury? The Seahawks, even though he was having 2 different offseason surgeries, they said, look, we believe in you. We're investing in you for 3 years. Come back and lead this defense. He says that he's excited about this scheme of what it's going to do to play to his strengths. Quandre Diggs could be something special in 2022. The Seahawks believe in him. They've shown the faith coming off a 5-interception season last year. What can he do this time around? I'm excited to see. He's going to be vital for this Seahawks defense. Number 2 on our countdown is Jamal Adams. And Jamal Adams, when you look at his track record, you go back to 2020, and part of this when it comes to the definition of importance goes back to what they gave up for him, what they have invested in Jamal Adams. 2020, you gave up 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick to get Adams to Seattle. That's a whole lot of moolah, folks. Then you look at this new contract he's on. First year of a new 4-year, $70 million deal. That's a lot of money, too. He's returning from finger fusion surgery at this point, folks. So, although I've heard the rumblings that some people have said, look, Jamal Adams needs to step up. He's got to play better for what they're paying him. All that may be true, but it's not mutually exclusive of what Seattle has done to invest in him, what they've shown their belief in him as a player and how much they've put into him. You could argue that the Seahawks have never given up more in a trade than what they did to bring in Jamal Adams. And then to pay him what they did too, I got to tell you, there's a lot riding on Jamal Adams' success in Seattle. Number 1 on our countdown, there's only one player that it had to be, DK Metcalf. Of course it was going to be DK Metcalf, the number 1 player on our countdown. He's entering the final year of his rookie contract, held out of minicamp, and it's so important that they get this deal done, that they keep him there long term. He's been so good in his first 3 years in the NFL, and I don't even think he's come close to peaking just yet. I think that he has the highest ceiling remaining of any player on the roster. Last year, 12 touchdowns. That was a career high. We've seen him have a 1,000-yard-plus season before. But now as he gets older, gets more experience, and starts to grow and take the little steps, do the little things better, DK Metcalf is going to be a monster. What we've seen of him at this point has been really good. But there's still more to come with DK Metcalf. And it's vital that the Seahawks keep him for a very long time, get this deal done, and show how important he is to the future of this team. And he's young enough, too, that even through this rebuild process, that you can build around this guy, that he's going to be the face of this franchise for many years to come. So there you have it. One more look at the most important players for the Seattle Seahawks. At number 10, Rashad Penny. Number 9, Uchenna Nwosu. Number 8, Poona Ford. Number 7, Noah Fant. Number 6, Jordan Brooks. Number 5, Charles Cross. Number 4, Tyler Lockett. Number 3, Quandre Diggs. Number 2, Jamal Adams. And number 1, DK Metcalf. Before we go, how did I do? Let me know in the comments section one way or the other. Give me a grade on my top 10 most important Seahawk players, A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know in the comments section below one way or the other how you think I did with these rankings on today's edition of Seahawks Today.